welcome back to 5-Minute Fridays. I am just about to start my 5-minute workout for today. This is another bodyweight workout. You will not need any exercise equipment whatsoever to follow along. However, if you do push-ups from your knees, you will want something soft beneath you because we are doing push-ups today. So if you have an exercise mat or a yoga mat, definitely go ahead and get that ready. If you don't have a mat, a towel should suffice. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so if you would prefer to skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that, but if you would like to see the exercises demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. There are just 4 exercises. They are all very simple, very basic bodyweight exercises. We are doing squats, we are doing 2 lunge variations, and we're doing push-ups. And that's it. All right, so let's start with squats because we're starting with squats. That's the first exercise. So with your squats, you want to start by making sure that your shoulders are back and down. So when I say shoulders back, I mean that you're going to kind of feel like you're pinching your shoulder blades together behind you. And when I say down, I just mean away from the ears. It's my tendency to constantly have my shoulders up here. So all throughout the day, I'm always having to remind myself to push my shoulders down to release some of that tension. And that's the posture you want to start with for your squats. Shoulders are back and down. So one really helpful way to achieve the correct posture is to visualize trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. So if you do that, then you're going to feel your shoulders roll back and down, and it's also going to help you keep your chest lifted nice and high. So this is the posture that we want. You also want to make sure that your abs are super tight. So if you imagine that someone is about to hit you in the stomach as hard as they can, imagine how you would brace for that impact, and that is how tight your abs should be. So shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, your abs are super tight. Now, before you think of squatting, because if you think of your squat as kind of going straight down, what's going to tend to happen is that your knees are going to end up out over your toes. It's really easy to hurt your knees that way, and that's not the movement. So instead of thinking about squatting down, instead, what I want you to think about is pushing your booty back. So visualize trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. If you really do that, then all of a sudden we're going from here, look at where my knees are, to here. So now you see how my knees are not going to be out over my toes when I start to squat down. My weight is completely in my heels. I can actually lift up my toes. And from here is where I can sink down into my squat. Look at where my knees are, over the heels as opposed to being over the toes. Okay, so shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are super tight and engaged. Push your booty back. Now, at the same time that you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, you don't want to forget to keep your chest lifted nice and high. So at the same time you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, visualize trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. That's going to help elongate your spine, and it's going to help ensure that your back stays flat, as well as ensure that your weight stays in your heels as you sink down into your squat. Okay, then you're going to sink down into your squat. Now, if you can sink real low into the squat so that your booty comes down below your knees, great, go for it. But especially if you are a beginner, you might not have that range of motion yet. It's fine. You don't have to sink down super low. Do your best to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. Again, you may or may not be able to get there, but that's what you're going for. That would be ideal if you can at least get your thighs so that they are parallel to the ground. All right, and then to come up from your squat, you're going to press your heels into the ground and slowly straighten your legs, return to your standing position. So as you press your heels into the ground, Visualize actually pressing the ground away from you with your heels. That's going to help you activate all of the muscles in your feet, through your legs, your glutes, and remember your abs are already super tight, so you want that entire core engaged as you come up. All right, so that is just a basic air squat. The main points to remember is that you want to make sure your back stays flat and the weight stays in your heels. Okay, flat back, weight in the heels. So let's put a couple more together just so you can see how it looks when you combine all of those little tips and tricks. So tuck the shoulder blades into the back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high. Tighten up your abs. Push your booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. Keep that chest lifted, nice elongated spine. And now keeping your back flat and the weight in your heels. Sink down into your squat. Now press the ground away with your heels. So really press those heels into the ground. Straighten the legs and stand. All right? Shoulders back and down, chest is high, abs are tight. Push the booty back. Back flat, weight in the heels. And now press the heels into the ground to stand. Push the booty back. Keeping your back flat. Keeping the weight in your heels. And actively pressing the ground away to return to your standing position. That's it, that's a basic air squat. So if you are a beginner and you need something to hold on to steady yourself, that's fine. Any strong, sturdy, stable surface will work. A plyo box would be great. You could use the arm of your couch or kitchen counter or dining room table. Anything that is strong enough to support your weight, if you're going to be putting weight on it. Sturdy enough so that it will not break on you. It needs to be well made and in good condition. You don't want it to fold up on you, so don't use a folding chair. And stable enough so that it will not slide from underneath you. So for example, if you're using a chair, that's fine as long as your chair is strong enough to support your body weight, sturdy enough so that it will not collapse or break on you when you put weight on it, and also stable enough that it will not slide from underneath you. So a chair is fine, but if you're on a wood floor, for example, I would recommend putting an exercise mat or a yoga mat down first and placing the chair on top of the mat to help keep it still, so it's not going to slide from underneath you. You want the chair to stay put. A plyo box would be ideal, but as long as you have an elevated surface that is strong enough, sturdy enough, and stable enough to be used safely, you can always hold on to something for support. You can also just shorten up your range of motion. So like I said, your goal is to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground, but if you're not there, that's fine. Work to your own level. So if you are a beginner and you need to shorten up your range of motion, that's fine. If you can only come here, then this is your squat. As long as your back is flat, your abs are tight, and the weight is in your heels, then that's fine. All right, so your beginner modification for the squat is just to shorten up your range of motion, and if you need to, hold on to something strong, sturdy, and stable for support. So that's squats. The next thing we're going to be doing is reverse lunges, and then we're doing what I call dragon lunges. The rest of the world calls them curtsy lunges. So if you know what a curtsy lunge is, that's what we're doing. With your lunges, the dragon lunges and the reverse lunges, it's the same basic principles that we just went over for squats. So you're going to start by tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets, making sure your shoulders are back and down. You're going to make sure your chest is lifted nice and high. You're going to tighten up your abs. And again, you want to think flat back, weight in the heels. All right, so when you're doing your lunges, again, you want to make sure as you step back into this reverse lunge that this front leg, the knee of this front leg, is at more or less a 90-degree angle. The main thing you want to be cognizant of as you're doing lunges is that your knees are not over your toes. You want the knee more over the heel of this front foot. So go for a 90-degree angle in this front knee, making sure the knee is over the foot, or over the heel of this front foot, as opposed to being out over the toes. All right, same thing with your dragon lunge. We're going to be dragon lunge and the reverse lunge is almost the exact same thing, but for the dragon lunge, we're going to be stepping behind and diagonally across our body, but it's the same thing. You wanna make sure that your weight is in the heel of your front foot, all right? So tucking the shoulder blades into your back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted nice and high. Tighten up those abs. Now you're going to pick up one foot and step it behind you like this. Now you're going to bend both knees. If you are able to tap this back knee onto the ground, that's fine, go for it. Just make sure you're controlling the movement so that you don't bang your knee into the ground. I've done it, it's not fun, I do not recommend it. So please be aware that your movement is mindful and under control. You don't have to tap this knee to the ground. But if you want to explore your full range of motion and you're capable of tapping that knee down to the ground with control so that you don't bang it, go for it. Making sure that you have a 90-degree angle in this front knee, and then you're just going to press the heel of this standing foot into the ground, step the foot forward again. All right, that's it. That's a reverse lunge. So again, if you are a beginner, you can hold on to something for support, or you can shorten up your range of motion. So if you can't step back as far as I am, and you can't tap your knee to the ground the way I am, that's fine. Shorten up your range of motion. So instead of stepping back here, step here. Instead of bending your knee so that it touches the ground, bend it this far, okay? Again, as long as you're making sure that this knee of your front leg is over your heel of your front foot and your weight is in this front heel. As long as your shoulders are back and down, your chest is lifted high, your core is engaged, your back is flat, that's fine. Shorten up your range of motion. So it doesn't matter if you're only coming here, if you're a beginner and that's what you need to do, great, work to your own level. So that's your beginner modification on the reverse lunges. So if you are doing push-ups from your knees, here's where you're going to want to have your exercise mat handy. This is my jump rope mat. It's nice and thick, so I like those thick exercise mats for this, but if you only have a yoga mat, they're much thinner, but they should suffice. We're not going to be doing a ton of push-ups. We're just doing one rep at a time. So even just a towel should be fine, but you will be a lot more comfortable with something soft beneath your knees, especially if you're working out on a wood floor or on concrete like I am. So if you don't do push-ups from your knees, then you won't need a mat, but I'm gonna show you the push-ups from the knees first. So the main point with your push-ups is that you want your back to be nice and flat, a straight back, okay? Some of the most common mistakes people make is that they let their back arch and they kind of sink into their shoulders. So what you want to do, go ahead and start here in a tabletop position. So I have my hands directly underneath my shoulders and my knees are directly underneath my hips. Now you can do, if you're an ultra beginner, you can actually do your push-ups from this box position. And this is going to be the easiest way to do your push-ups. I think that probably almost all beginners can manage this. If you can't, then please reach out to me because you may think that you can't do push-ups, but I promise you, you can. We can find a push-up variation that you can manage. So please don't give up on this workout or any workout that contains push-ups because you think you can't do them. You absolutely can. So start with this version if you want. This is just a box push-up. So from this box position, you can just bend your elbows and lower your chest down towards the mat. Press yourself back up. All right, so make sure that your abs are super tight and you want to be kind of lifting your booty towards the ceiling to make sure that your back is nice and flat. And think about pressing the ground away from you. So when I say lift your booty towards the ceiling, what I mean is the opposite of this. See if you kind of curl your hips under and around your back. Now tilt your pelvis in the opposite direction as far as it will go. So try to think like you're trying to touch the ceiling with your little booty cheeks, okay? And while you do that, you're pressing the ground away from you. So make sure you're not sinking down into your shoulders like this. Actively press your hands into the mat and push the ground away from you. If you want to do a typical knee push-up, you're going to step your knees back a little bit. And you're going to have your knees together. I always cross my ankles, you really don't need to. But the point here is that you want your body in one straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So the same thing applies as far as pressing the mat away, because one of the most common mistakes I see people make is that they're kind of sinking into their shoulders like this. So you don't want to do that. You want to be in a nice high plank position. So actively press the ground away from you. And then you want to make sure that you are tightening up your abs. So a lot of people also will kind of allow their back to arch because their hips or their belly are kind of drooping to the mat like this. Instead, what you want to do is really tighten up those abs. So again, it's just like we did for our squats. If you imagine someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for impact, tighten up your abs and use your ab muscles to lift those hips up high and keep them high. So you want to maintain that straight line from your knees to your shoulders the entire time. And then another really common mistake I see people make is letting their head drop down. So what you want is to have your head perfectly in line with your spine. Picture if you were standing up against a wall and your spine is absolutely perfectly straight on the wall and your head is right in that same line. Okay, so you want to have your neck in a nice neutral position. So find this neutral position with your head right in line with your spine, and then don't move your head. So the temptation, what happens is that a lot of people, when they try to go get their chest down to the mat in their push-up, they don't yet have the upper body strength or the core strength to get their chest all the way down to the mat, and so they compensate for that by lowering their forehead down to the mat. All right, so if you're here in your beautiful plank position, straight line from your knees to your shoulders, you're pressing the ground away from you. Your head is in a nice neutral position, so it's not drooping like this. You're also not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out, just in a nice neutral position. And then you're going to bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the mat as you can. Now, what happens with a lot of people is if they are not able to get their chest all the way down to the mat, what happens is they'll get here and then they'll want to compensate for the fact that they're not getting their chest down by lowering their forehead down to the mat. Or sometimes you'll see people lower their hips or their belly down to the mat. All right, so that's why once you find that beautiful plank position, you want to keep your abs tight, keep your hips lifted high, keep your back flat. Do not allow your hips or your belly to droop down, causing your back to arch. And once you've found that nice neutral position and your head is perfectly in line with your spine, don't move it. So don't bob your head up and down, just keep everything perfectly still. Once you've found that plank position, nothing should move. All right, the only thing you're doing is lowering your chest down as close to the mat as you can. If you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat, that's fine. Just shorten up your range of motion. So the goal is to get your chest all the way down to the mat, and then you're going to press the ground away from you and push yourself back up. Keep never breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So watch how from my knees to my shoulders is staying in one straight line all the way down and all the way back up. Nothing is moving. So it's fine if you need to shorten up your range of motion. If you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat, then just come here. Once you've gotten your chest as close to the mat as you can, you're just going to press the ground away from you. So again, you're actively pressing your palms into the mat and you're visualizing pressing the ground away from you, coming back up to that nice, beautiful high plank. All right, so it is absolutely fine to just shorten up your range of motion. All right, what's not fine is to get here and then compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest down by lowering your hips or your belly to the ground. That's causing my back to arch. We want to keep our abs tight, hips lifted high, flat back, straight line from the knees to the shoulders. What's not okay is to come here and then compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down by lowering your forehead to the ground. Want our head in line with our spine, and we want to keep it perfectly still. All right, so that is the correct form for your push-ups. That's knee push-ups plus an additional beginner variation. If you're doing push-ups from your toes, all of the same principles apply. The only difference is that instead of having your knees down on the mat, you're going to come up, curl your toes under, come up to a high plank so that you have the balls of your feet pressing into the ground. And from here, everything is the same. So you want your abs nice and tight. You want those hips lifted high. Don't allow your hips or your belly to drop down to the mat. That's causing my back to arch. You want to tighten up your ab muscles. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. You also want to make sure in your high plank position that you're not sinking into your shoulders. So press the ground away from you. From this high plank position, you're going to make sure that your head stays still. Your head is nice and in line with your spine. You're not allowing your head to drop down. You're going to bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the ground as you can. And then press the ground away. Keeping that straight line from your heels to your shoulders the whole time. And if you cannot get your chest all the way down to the ground, that's fine. You can either drop to your knees and do knee push-ups, or you can shorten up your range of motion. But don't compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat. Don't compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down by lowering your forehead to the mat. All right? All of the same rules apply. The only difference is that you are starting in a high plank position on the balls of your feet as opposed to having your knees on the mat. So that's it. That's all 4 exercises. Squats, reverse lunges, dragon lunges, and push-ups. So here's the format. This is an AMRAP, a 5-minute AMRAP. So I have my timer set to count down 5 minutes for me. We are going to do 1 squat, then we are going to do 1 reverse lunge on each leg, then 1 dragon lunge on each leg, and then 1 push-up. So that's 1 round. We're just going to do as many rounds as we can in 5 minutes without sacrificing our form. So you're going to start with your squat, so shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, tighten up those abs. Push the booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. Sink down into your squat, press the ground away to stand. Now 2 reverse lunges. So step back, bend the knees, step forward, other leg, step back, lunge, and step forward. Now your 2 dragon lunges or curtsy lunges. So step behind you and diagonally across your body, bend both knees, press into this front heel to stand. Other side, so pick up the opposite foot, step it behind you and diagonally across your body, sink down into the lunge, press into this front heel to stand, and now your push-up. Now, if you need an entirely impact-free workout, or if you need a silent workout, if you have downstairs neighbors, you can step your feet back. So bend down, put your hands on the mat, step your feet back, 1 at a time so that you're in a plank position. And then if you're doing knee push-ups, go ahead and put your knees down, do your push-up, come back up into your high plank position, and step the feet in, stand. That's 1 round. All right, I'm going to be jumping my feet back. So I'm going to come down, put my hands down, and then I'm going to jump both feet back at the same time until I'm in a plank position, like this. So that's another option. You can jump the feet out and in, or you can step them out and in, okay? So let's go through it another 2 or 3 times with your beginner modifications, just so that you see how it's going to flow. So shoulders back and down, chest is high, tighten up your abs, push your booty back. Squat, now 2 reverse lunges. Step back and lunge. Step it forward, other side. Step back and lunge, step it forward. Now 2 dragon lunges. So lunging behind you and diagonally across your body, and now your push up. So hands come down, step the feet back, knees go down, push up, back up into your plank position, step the feet in and stand. Recheck your posture. Roll those shoulders back and down. Keep that chest lifted high. Tighten up those abs. Let's go again. Push the booty back, keeping your back flat, keeping the weight in your heels as you sink down into that squat. Step 1 foot behind you, lunge, step it forward. Other side. Bend both knees, press into this front heel to step forward. Now 2 dragon lunges. Lunging behind you and diagonally across your body. Push up. Hands come down, step it back. Knees down. Push up. Step it in. All right, so you're just going to do that as many times as you can for 5 minutes. Just make sure that you are going at your own pace and make sure that you are minding your form. We took like 20 minutes before the workout to go over the proper form for each and every exercise. The reason I do that is because it is incredibly important that you understand the movement and you know how to do the exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury and so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So please make sure that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form. If there's anything I didn't cover sufficiently, if you have questions about that, I'm right here to help, so please just ask. But make sure that you're going at your own pace and do not sacrifice your form for speed. This is an AMRAP. AMRAP, that stands for as many rounds as possible. So we're trying to complete this little sequence as many rounds as we can during our 5-minute countdown. However, it's as many rounds as possible, or as many reps as possible, some people will say, with good form. So if you find that you're just racing through the exercises because you're trying to go fast for the sake of going fast so that you can squeeze in as many reps as you possibly can, pay attention to your form. If that's causing your form to get sloppy, then you need to slow down the pace a little bit. Yes, it's going to mean that you may complete fewer reps, but you want all of your reps to be good quality so that you reduce your risk of injury and so that you maximize the benefit that you're getting out of each exercise. So make sure you're minding your form, and if you have any questions about the exercises, any doubts about how to do them with the correct form, I'm right here to help, so please just ask. You guys know it is also extremely important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. I am always here to help facilitate that. So if you need any further help with beginner modifications, please just ask. I will always be happy to help you with that. If you are not doing the push-ups from your knees, then here's what it's going to look like. This is what I will be doing. It's the exact same sequence, you're just doing the push-ups from your toes. So tuck the shoulder blades into the back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are super tight and engaged. Push the booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. At the same time, you're trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Make sure that spine is nice and elongated. Back is flat, weight is in the heels. You're gonna sink down into your squat. Now actively press your heels into the ground, pushing the ground away from you with your heels to stand. And now 2 reverse lunges. So step 1 foot back, sink into that reverse lunge, press into the heel of this front foot to stand, return to your starting position. Repeat that on the other side. So pick up the opposite foot, step it behind you, sink into your lunge position, press this heel into the ground to stand, return to your starting position. Now 2 dragon lunges, one on each side. So lunging behind you and diagonally across from your body, return to your starting position. Repeat that on the other side, and now your push-up. So hands down, you can step the feet back if you prefer. If you have downstairs neighbors and you need a quiet workout, or if you just want an impact-free workout, that's fine. And then you're going to do your push-up, jump or step the feet back in, and stand. I'm going to be jumping my feet out and in, So let's do one more, a little faster, so you can see the flow of it, and you can see what it looks like with the jump. So squat, reverse lunge. Other side. Now 2 dragon lunges, 1 to each side. And now your push up. Hands come down, jump the feet back into a plank position. Push up, jump the feet in, and stand. That's our little sequence, and we're going to complete it as many times as we can with excellent form in 5 minutes. So it's super simple, but it's actually going to be really tough. So just do your best. Hopefully I have covered everything. Please also remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the entire workout with you, so watch me do it, read the instructions, but of course, as always, if you have any questions, just ask. Remember to go at your own pace and do not sacrifice your form for speed. Remember to work to your own level. Apply whatever modifications are appropriate for your current fitness level. If you are ready to go ahead and do this little 5-minute workout with me, grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you are doing knee push-ups. If you don't have a mat, a towel or maybe a blanket should suffice. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. And if you're doing push-ups from your toes, you will not need a mat. But if you do need push-ups, please take a minute to grab something like an exercise mat or a yoga mat so that you have something soft beneath your knees. Remember to take a few minutes to make sure you're good and warmed up, and when you're ready, let's get started. All right, so 1 air squat, 2 reverse lunges, 1 on each side, 2 dragon lunges, 1 on each side, and then 1 push-up. We're just going to complete that little circuit as many times as we can in 5 minutes without sacrificing form, so do your best. I'm starting with a 10-second rest interval, and now get ready. So roll the shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, tighten up your abs. You're gonna push your booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, sinking into that squat with a flat back, keeping the weight in your heels. Now 2 reverse lunges, 1 on each side, 2 dragon lunges, 1 on each side, and now a push-up. So you can jump or step the feet back and jump or step the feet back in. That is up to you. That's 1 round. We're just going to keep going, completing as many rounds of these 4 exercises as we can before our 5 minutes is up. So squat, reverse lunge, reverse lunge. Now I call this a dragon lunge. I know everybody else, like in the whole world, calls it a curtsy lunge, so whatever you call it, that's what we're doing. So you're lunging behind you and diagonally across your body. Then 1 push-up. So air squat, step it back, 2 reverse lunges, 2 dragon lunges, push-up. So, oops, I almost went into my dragon lunges before my reverse lunges. I guess it doesn't really matter, but just make sure that you're checking in with your posture. So you want to visualize tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets so that your shoulders are back and down. I don't know why I'm so determined to skip my reverse lunges. That's the second time I did it wrong. You also want to make sure that you're keeping your back flat and the weight is staying in your heels. Remember that you can do the push-up from your knees if you want. That is absolutely fine. And remember that you can step out and step in. for your push-up. If you need a completely impact-free workout, or if you need your workout to be silent. If you have downstairs neighbors maybe, and they're going to be disturbed by any jumping, that's fine. We have about 90 seconds left. So keep pushing. Make sure that you're minding your form on that push-up. Keeping your body in one straight line. From your heels to your shoulders. If you're doing the push-ups from your toes. If you're doing knee push-ups, then that straight line is going to be from your knees to your shoulders. But you want to make sure that you're not allowing your head to drop down. Keep your head in line with your spine and keep your neck still. Keep those abs super tight. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips up high and keep them high. So that your hips and your belly aren't drooping down, causing your back to arch. And you guys, that's it. That's our 5 minutes, we did it. Okay, good job. That was a pretty tough 5 minutes. So shake it out. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. And let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together. And then the workout will be officially complete. When you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. With that, the workout is now officially complete. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did this little 5-minute workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear with the format, if you have questions about the exercises we were doing today, any doubts at all about how to do them with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications, I am right here. So please just ask. If you enjoy these little 5-minute workouts and you would like to see more of them, please remember that I have an entire playlist of 5-minute workouts on my channel. I will link it right there. And we are going to be continuing to do these 5-minute Fridays for the foreseeable future. So that means that I will be continuing to bring you at least 1 new 5-minute workout a week every week for the foreseeable future. And that is going to do it for today. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye.